I know you, I walked with you once upon a dream. I know you.
Hey guys, FilmCrazyAdam here. I'm about to go see Maleficent. But as you can see, I am back! After 2 solid months on the road, I am back. I am done with that job. I am quitting, and I can now talk about it because I've read way too many articles and seen too many interviews where somebody said something bad about a company or that they were quitting, on Facebook, or they posted about it on their blog, and came back to bite them in the ass. So now that I'm past that point, I've quit. Now I can talk about it, which is that I quit that job. I'm no longer going to be over the road. I'm going to be doing a dedicated route, so I'll be home on the weekends. I'll be home on the weekends. I'll be able to film more and do stuff, and you'll see more regular videos. So I'm happy about it. I hope you guys are happy about it. I'm going to go see Maleficent now, kind of as a treat to myself for coming home. Now, my thoughts going into this movie is, I'm curious where they're going to go with it, because the main character is an evil character, or the character of Maleficent was created for the Disney movie Sleeping Beauty. Now, when I say created for, the original fairy tale does have a dark fairy or an evil fairy. I'm not saying that Maleficent, like Sleeping Beauty, didn't have this character in it. But specifically, Maleficent. Disney made up that name, made up her character design, and made the character evil. This is the evil, this is the good, they fight. I simplified that too much, but basically what I'm saying is, imagine, if I understand the trailers correctly, she's kind of being painted in this sympathetic light. So imagine if, let me see. Imagine if you went to go see a movie called Freddy Krueger. Okay? So you've seen Nightmare on Elm Street. They make a movie called Freddy Krueger, and they make him out to be a nice guy. He's still Freddy Krueger. He's still burnt. He's still got the knives and everything, but he's not a bad guy. How does that work? Now, I don't know. This movie could be good. Like I said, I want all movies to be good, because this is going to be a waste of time and money if it isn't. So, and I know this movie takes place, it's kind of a prequel to Sleeping Beauty, but it rolls into Sleeping Beauty. But the character's still named Maleficent, and looks exactly like the character from the animated movie. Which, by the way, Angelina Jolie looks really good in that outfit. They did a really good job with that. So even before before going to see a movie, I'm already kind of expecting it to be good, because it looks, they didn't scrimp on the graphics, and they didn't scrimp on the costume. So, other than that, I don't know, I don't really know. I'm going in with a little interest because I'm not sure where they're going with this. It's an evil character. 50 years ago, we established that she is evil. So, why? I'm only wondering if this is kind of in the same vein as, Breaking Bad, where I've seen a few of those episodes. I haven't watched the whole series. The episodes I have seen, the acting is good. It's very well acted. However, your main character is a guy who murders people, cooks and distributes meth. He's a monster. Your main character, who, again, fantastic acting, is a monster. He murders people and gives drugs that just F people up out to people. So, it's kind of like in this vein of, we're making these movies about villains or anti-heroes as the main character, so you're kind of meant to root for, in anything, you're meant to root for the main character, whether it's a hero or a villain or an anti-hero. Generally, it's a hero or an anti-hero. I think I'm going to go see the movie now. I don't want to spend too much thought on this and dig myself and kind of ingrain my thoughts in a certain way. But so I'll just even say this: I don't know where they're going with this. It's the main character is a villain, so how are they going to paint this? All right, I'm going to go see the movie. I'll let you know. All right. So I just saw Maleficent. Nope. Okay, I saw Maleficent last night. Saw Maleficent last night. And I've let this simmer a bit. It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Usually I do these the first thing in the morning, but I needed a palate cleanser. You know, I had time to shave and everything. I needed a palate cleanser, so I watched this. I watched the original Sleeping Beauty, which, for the record, this, believe it or not, is my all-time favorite movie. This movie is at the top of my list for favorite movies of all time. I love this movie. This movie, I grew up watching it ad nauseum. I mean, I watched a ton of Disney movies growing up and a bunch of cartoons and Godzilla. But this movie, above all, you know, I wanted to be Prince Philip in this movie. I thought I was Prince Philip. Like, he was so cool. He fought a dragon, kicked its ass, you know, with some help. And in the end, he gets the girl. But it's not just your typical Disney movie where Prince Charming just shows up and the girl just automatically falls in love with him. There's this whole thing where they actually meet each other ahead of time by accident. Just as fate would have it, they meet in the woods. Him and this girl, Briar Rose, he has no idea she's a princess. She has no idea that he's a prince. And they hit it off. They make a connection. She's like, you know what? And right off the bat, she's like very wary about it. It's like, no. I was told to be wary of strangers. I can't just be falling in love with anybody. I can't be talking to anybody. But you know, they start to hit it off. And then she invites him back to. It's like, you know what? I want you to meet my aunts. You know, inviting him home for dinner. Again, at this point, neither one knows the other is royalty. Prince Philip goes back to his dad and says, you know what? I don't care what royal law is. I don't care what you did when I was younger. I found the love of my life, at least somebody I want to spend time with, so I'm going to go hang out with her. Like, my point is, it's not your typical, like, princess just meets a prince, and then 5 minutes later they're married. And they live happily ever after, because that's crap. They make fun of that in the movie Frozen. Like, wait, you just met this guy, and you're going to get married? This is a good movie. Good movie. Favorite movie. The villain in this movie is a character named Maleficent, who, self-proclaimed, is the mistress of all evil. The name itself, Maleficent, is just a play on the word malevolent, which means evil. I was trying to think yesterday, and earlier today, I was like, if I had never seen this movie, alright, Maleficent fucking sucked. I'm gonna curse, I'll bleep it out later, but motherfucker, fuck this movie. You bastardized a good story. And a lot of people, and I know, people are gonna be bitching at me like, well, they took an old idea and put a new spin on it. No, they didn't! They took pre-established characters, changed everything about them, completely changed the story, and are trying to market it as something familiar. So somebody wrote a script, which, I'll get into this, but it was a bad script. It was a bad script to begin with. And somebody said, well, we can't market it, we can't sell this story as it is. We got to make it familiar so people have something to, it's something familiar with them that they can relate to. Like, oh, I know that character. Let's go see a movie about that character because I remember it from when I was a kid. You know, they did this with Snow White and the Huntsman, where that's not the story of Snow White. They have, Like, nothing about that story is Snow White. And they just named it Snow White so that people goes, oh, I know the story of Snow White. I want to see a darker, grittier version. This movie, again, fucking bastardized my favorite movie of all time. Fuck! Alright. Alright. I'm not being fair. Maleficent. Let's do the good and the bad. What was good? Angelina Jolie was really great in this movie. Not only that, but her costume design was fantastic. She looked the part without being like cheesy and goofy looking. She really looked the part of Maleficent. And she was good in this movie. She wasn't Maleficent. Because Maleficent is evil. Okay? In the story, in the fairy tale of Sleeping Beauty, there is in fact a dark fairy that puts a death curse on the new princess. She's pissed because she, like, really spiteful. She is pissed because she didn't get invited to the celebration for the birth of the princess. That's it. She's just pissed that, like, she didn't get an invite. And so she puts a death curse on the kid, and really, that's it. You never really hear from her again. Now, in Disney, she puts a death curse on the kid. Well, I mean, there's this whole character, Maleficent. She actually has a name now. She actually has a persona. Like I said, in the original fairy tale, she's there, death curse, gone. We never really see her again. With this, she is the primary antagonist. We harken back to her. She's got a role. You know, she's trying to actively murder this kid during this movie. You know, she's evil. She's got powers. She's not just, you know, she's a dark fairy. She can teleport. She can throw lightning at people. She's powerful. And she's evil. Maleficent in this movie is misunderstood. She's a little angry, but it's not her fault. So she's not really evil. Like, there's one time that she tries to be evil, and she can't really do it. Like, she even, like, wusses out at one point. But anyway, Angelina Jolie was pretty good as Maleficent. As this bastardized version of Maleficent. She was good in the movie. The fire effects when she is in the throne room were fantastic. A lot of the other effects were not. This, like, when Aurora is, whenever Aurora is around CG creatures, it is so obviously, badly, it's so obvious CG. It's so bad CG, and, like, that actress is not that good. Like, there are some people who can emote to something that's not there and do it well. She's not one of them. The girl who played Aurora was not good. I like the guy who played the Crow better than the girl who played Aurora. What else was good about it? I like the dragon effect. That's it. The fire effect and Angelina's costume. That's basically the only good thing. Everything else in this movie was just... And I'm trying to come at this from a non-biased point of view. Like, no, I still stand firm that this was a stupid movie, even if you haven't seen it. Because sometimes when they remake a movie or they do a new version like this, you're biased towards the original because you've seen the original. In this case, it's still a bad movie if you've seen this. Here's why. Okay? I will tell you, this is the movie Maleficent. The movie starts out with, we're introduced to Maleficent, and that's her name to begin with. It's Maleficent. She's this kid, or she looks like a kid, but she's a fairy with, like, gargoyle, not bat wings, but like gargoyle wings, but with feathers on them. And she's flying around, and she's got horns. She lives in this forest, and she meets this kid. Just a kid. And a boy. She meets a boy. They hit it off. They start becoming friends. They grow up together. It's implied that they have a romantic relationship. And then everything goes to shit. Fucking everything goes to shit. There is a king who is unnamed, but he looks like King Hubert from the original from the original movie. So this dude shows up with an army to Maleficent's forest. And for no reason, it's just like, we're gonna fuck this shit up. We're gonna fucking take this magic forest and burn this shit to the ground. Fuck this forest. Never do they give a reason why he does this. There's no gold in the forest. There's no treasure. There's no, like, mystic power that if they burn the forest down, they can get it. It's just, we're gonna fuck this forest up, you know. Fuck environmentalism, you know. We don't have national park. Fuck you, national park. And they're just gonna burn it to the ground. Just fuck this shit up. For no reason. Guy has an army of like 600 people to burn down a forest. Completely decked. What the fuck? It made no sense. Like, they don't establish, why are you doing this? Is the forest evil? We've already established at the beginning of the movie, with Maleficent and her being friends with this boy, that the forest isn't evil. It's not Mirkwood. It's freaking the enchanted forest. It's not bad to go in the forest. It's not dangerous to go in the forest. It's not forbidden to go in the forest. It's just there. And he's like, we're gonna fuck this shit up. So, at this point, Angelina Jolie has grown into an adult. And she uses her super flying powers. Because at this point, it's only established that she can fly with her wings. Like, that's it. And she has some magic, but not throwing the lightning bolts and, like, teleporting and doing all the stuff that she did in the Disney movie. At this point, it's like, she's a typical fairy. She's got some, like, for some reason, she is, like, her physical form is that of a human with horns and wings, like, fully grown, like, a normal-sized human with horns and wings. No other fairy in the entire forest has, you know, is like that. I mean, you have the three good fairies from the original in this movie, only they're idiots. These three fairies are fucking imbeciles. They are the three fucking stooges. They're fucking idiots. God, I couldn't believe it. I'm watching these three fairies, and they really are like Larry Moe and Curly, where it's like, oh yeah, well, oh, and like pulling each other's hair, and then this one hits that one, and that one hits the other one in the face, and this one throws some flour in their face. Like it was the three fucking stooges. Okay. Sidetracking. In the original story. No, I'll get to that. I'm not gonna. All right. So Maleficent fucks this shit up just by blowing the wind at them, and the king is mortally wounded. Maleficent then, of course, just, you know, the king retreats, she retreats, and she's happy. She won the day, and the king says, "I have no heir, and all of you suck. So I'm not picking the heir to my kingdom. Somebody has to prove themselves." So the boy, Stefan, this boy whose name was Stefan, who grew up, became part of the king's army, then goes to the forest, and preying on Maleficent's emotions, the two of them hook up. And it's like old times, and, you know, we're catching up, and, you know, she falls asleep by his side. At which point, he pulls out razor wire and completely amputates her wings. Somehow she doesn't wake up during the amputation of two body parts. Literally just razor wire, like, just pulls it along her back and cuts off both of her wings. Again, somehow does not wake up. I am willing to be like, alright, fairies sleep really freaking hard. They sleep really fucking hard. It's like the Odin sleep. I will roll with that. The fact that she didn't bleed out, well, she's a fairy. I'll roll with that too. Fairies don't have blood. Let's roll with that. But at the same time, fine, it's an Odin sleep. But still. Okay, it's an Odin sleep. She can't feel anything. An atomic bomb can drop on her and she would not feel it. Still, it's like two body parts. Oh, God. So he brings it back to the king. And the king's like, well done. You're the new king. And that's it. We move move on from there. We go ahead. We move forward in time. Maleficent at this point is really bitter for good reason. Her wings, her most precious possession, has been cut off of her. So she raises a wall of thorns. Like the wall of thorns from that movie, which was supposed to impede Philip to get to the castle, is now this giant wall of thorns around the entire forest. She becomes a little bit of a little bitchy, but she's trying to. It's like the person who's trying to be like, I'm trying to be evil, but like you're really good, so it's like it's coming off as you. It's like, honey, you're not evil. Just stop it. Stop it. No, you're not evil. Yeah, I am. I'm gonna make a wall and dress in dark clothes and, you know, give people a stink eye. No, honey, you're not evil. Just stop it. Please stop. You're embarrassing yourself. Years pass. The king marries, has a kid, and for some reason he's friends with the three good fairies, the three idiots that I told you about, which don't make sense because they live in the forest. So how would he have met them? Well, he met them when he was a kid, but somehow they missed the memo that we don't like Stefan because he cut off my wings. So they go to the castle for the celebration. Why are they? I don't know why they're there. They start presenting their gifts to the princess. You know, if you've seen this one, you know the three good fairies show up. One gives her the gift of song, one gives her the gift of beauty, and before the third one can give her her gift, Maleficent shows up in a flash of lightning to bestow a death curse. Says that on her 16th birthday, she'll prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die. At which point, when she leaves, then the third fairy alters the curse ever so slightly, so it's not death, but just she's sleeping. In this movie, Maleficent shows up. Just waltzes right in. No lightning strike, no teleportation, just waltzes right in the room. Just, I guess her magic isn't that powerful. She shows up, and of course makes it awkward for Stefan, like, hey man, how's it been? You alright? Cool. Oh, you got a kid? That's awesome. You know what? I'm going to give your kid a gift. And she busts out the really good fire effect. Like I said, it was a good fire effect. And she starts to put a death curse on the kid. Starts to. At which point, the mother, I can't remember if it's the mother or Stefan, but one of them actually says, please don't do this. And she's like, oh, are you begging? Go on, beg for me. And he does. He's like, please don't kill my daughter. And Maleficent, the mistress of all evil, backpedals. She's like, alright, I won't kill her. Instead, she'll just fall into a deep sleep. When she, let's see, when she, and I'm not kidding, she literally, like, looks around the throne room, and she's like, oh, that! When she pricks her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel, she'll fall asleep. I'm not kidding. For some reason, there is a spinning wheel in the throne room. Why is that there? Because in a castle like that, you have servant quarters. You have servants and tailors who make your clothes for you. Because you're the king. You order this shit to happen. For some reason, there is a spinning wheel, not in the servants' part of the castle, but in the throne room. That would be like having a sewing machine. It'd be like having a sewing machine, or even an actual spinning wheel in the Oval Office. That makes no sense. Why is that there? But so she does that. She starts to make a death curse, and then backpedals on it. And just says, nah, you know what, I'll just have her fall asleep. Because I'm not really that bad. And then she just waltzes back out. And no one stops her. Yeah. Yeah. Remember that analogy I made yesterday where it's like, imagine if they made a movie called Freddy Krueger and he was just... Imagine if they made a movie called Freddy Krueger and he still looks the same. He's got the the blade hand. He's got the melted face. He's got the striped shirt, and he's just the nice old man at the end, you know, who lives in one of the houses in the cul-de-sac. That every Friday when the kids get off the school bus, he's waiting there with like a tray of cookies, and like the kids take the cookies, and he's such a nice guy. And then the parents decide, and like he's literally never raped anybody. He's just the nice guy who dresses kind of weird in the cul-de-sac. And so all the parents like gang up on him and like run him out of town, or like murder his dog or his wife, and like, you know, forces him to live, you know, in a shack because I don't know why. That's what they've just done to Maleficent. Like, they've taken the mistress of all evil, the Darth Vader of Disney before Disney owned Darth Vader, and made her a little bitch. Made her literally made her a wannabe villain. You've ruined this. Why did you ruin this? What? Why? Like, what is everyone's obsession with taking a movie, a pre-established material, and then just turning it on its fucking ass? Or better yet, completely reversing it. So now the good guys are villains and the villains are good guys. Why are you doing this? Can't you come up with some new idea? What kind of writers are these people in Hollywood that they can't write new shit? They gotta take old things, rework them in a stupid way, and then try and sell it as, this is good. This is really good. I just turned one of the most badass villains, who turned into a freaking dragon, who put an entire kingdom in fear for 16 years. And then forced them into comas. Because the good fairies are like, you know what, we can't let them know that we dropped the ball in this one. So we're going to put everyone to sleep. And that way they all wake up at the same time and no one knows that Aurora was hurt. Like, the fairies in the original are really smart. Like, they think of this stuff. They're the ones who came up with the idea, let's take Aurora to the woods. Well, we're gonna send Aurora to the woods and hide her there. That way, Maleficent has no idea, because Maleficent in the original said, by this time the sun sets on her 16th birthday. So basically, she said it could happen between now and when she turns 16. Just so you know, it could happen tomorrow that she's gonna prick her finger and die. Again, Maleficent doesn't know that the death curse has been changed in the original. She thinks she's got them, you know, in a corner up against the wall. Like, yeah, I got you. There's no stopping this. I'm going to ruin your lives. And so, for 16 years, she has them in fear. I mean, she's pissed the entire time, because they even say, as long as, like, thunder struck, and as long as it was bad weather on the Misty Mountain where she lived, they knew that the curse hadn't happened. So that was everyone's one bit of solace in the original movie, is like, as long as she's in a bad mood, we know that it hasn't happened. And so for 16 years, these fairies raised this kid into a beautiful young girl. They don't use their magic for 16 years. Like, they're really, really strict about that, because they're like, if we use magic, Maleficent will sense that. They'll somehow figure it out, find us. And in the end, that is what happens. Like, the one time they use magic to make the dress and make the cake and clean up the cottage, that's when they find it. That's when they find the crow in that movie finds the fairy. They find them. And that's what put Maleficent on her trail, and that's how Maleficent was able to get her to prick her finger in the original movie. In this movie, I think it was the king. And again, it was the fairy's idea. Like, we're going to do this. This is a brilliant idea. Actually, first they're like, let's turn her into a flower, because a flower doesn't have a finger. You can't prick a flower's finger. And then they're like, oh, wait, no, because Maleficent will send a frost and kill the flower, and that's just as bad. So that's when they come up with a new idea of, we're just going to hide her in the woods. In this movie. And again, Maleficent doesn't know, for 16 years, does not know where this kid is until the last day. In this movie, in Maleficent, the king comes up with the idea. By the way, King Stefan is an asshole. He is an angry, abusive husband. Like, when you think in your mind, the vision, the thought of an abusive husband or an abusive boyfriend, the one that just beats people and is always angry and drunk, that's Stefan in this movie. I'm not kidding. That is what Stefan is. He's an angry, drunk, abusive husband. You never actually see him hit his wife because she's only in one scene. But that's the overall attitude. He's always angry. He's always pissed. He's always rage-filled. He's not a nice guy. He's not a happy guy. In this movie, they literally took everything from the first movie and threw it on its head. Maleficent, in this movie, was minding her own business. And then this asshole came along, cut off her wings, and just abuses her. She's an abused woman. And Stefan is an asshole. The king before him was an asshole. The three fairies are fucking idiots. Aurora is a special needs kid. Really? Like short bus, crayons and a safety helmet, special needs. She's a fucking idiot too. She is so stupid. And like, it doesn't help that the actor's like, and I'm not making fun of special needs kids. I'm making fun of how stupid, like, Aurora's supposed to be semi-intelligent. And at the very least, she's smart enough not to talk to strangers. She's smart enough to not tell anybody anything in the original. She knows that she's got to kind of keep to herself that there's danger in the world. This one is a fucking moron because the three fairies, the king basically threatens them with their life and tells them, you're going to take my kid and put her in the woods. Hide her there so Maleficent can't find her. Not for 1 minute does Maleficent not know where this kid is. These fairies show up in the woods with this kid and don't know a damn fucking thing to do with this kid. It's crime. They don't know why. I think they give it a leg of lamb. Seriously. I think they, like, put food next to it and then walk away from the kid. And they're like, well, when the kid gets hungry enough, it'll eat. They don't know, and they don't know what the kid's problem is. They don't know how to feed it. They don't know how to change it. When they go to bed at night, they plug their ears. They're like, well, screw this. Yeah, fuck that kid. Yeah, this is better. Screw you, kid. Cry all you want. I don't hear a thing. Seriously. They're the most neglected dumbasses in all of creation. In all of fantasy. I don't think there's a more neglected, stupid, like, this isn't our problem. They don't even try. And they're, like I said, they're fucking idiots. They are the Three Stooges. There's 2 or 3 scenes where they just, like, poke each other, and, like this one pulls that one here, and then that one pulls that one, and that one pulls that one, that one hits that one. Yeah, here's this. Seriously, they're the Three Stooges. It's so embarrassing that I get really riled up about this movie because it's hitting on such a personal level. So yeah, Maleficent, not for 1 minute, doesn't know who this kid is, doesn't know where the kid is. In fact, she does a better job of protecting the kid from her than those 3 fairies. Like, day one, or like when the kid, at one point the kid, the toddler, wanders off to a cliff and goes over the cliff. The entire time, Maleficent is just sitting there watching it, and she kind of debates whether to save it. Like, and I say debate, but I mean, like, she turns to the crows, like, you think I should save her? Fully well knowing that she's going to save her. And she does. She uses her magic. Like, there's these roots that are hanging that she turns them basically into hands and catches the kid as she falls off the cliff and puts her back on the ground. At night, when the kid is crying and the fairies have their ears plugged up, Maleficent goes to the house and makes a bottle full of milk and gives it to the kid. It's so stupid! They're supposed to protect her from her. She is doing a better job at protecting her from her than these fuckers. Fuck this movie. This movie was still bad. Like I said, it's hitting me on a personal level, but it was still a bad movie. Angelina was fine in it. Her fire effects were fine. A lot of the graphics were not. All the other actors were... Like, Maleficent is 2-dimensional at best. Every single other character is 1-dimensional, and if there's something below 1 dimension, that's what they are. They even pull a Snow White and the Huntsman bullshit in this movie, where at one point Maleficent actually actively goes, like, she actually tries to cancel the curse. She actually goes to Aurora and, like, tries to cancel the curse that she put on her, and it doesn't work. So she's like, ah, shit. Damn. And so the true love's kiss is the only thing that could break the curse. I'm skipping ahead a little bit. Aurora goes, oh, god dang it. She finds out from the fairies that she's really a princess. Because these fucking idiots let it slip, like, because Aurora says, because Maleficent actually invites Aurora, you know what? You can stay here and live in the forest with me. It's pretty cool, right? And because at one point, you've seen it in the trailer where the two of them meet. And Aurora, like I said, special needs kid, because she's like, oh, you've been my guardian angel this whole time. Well, she's not wrong. And so she becomes friends with Maleficent. And Maleficent shows her the magic of the forest and everything. And all the enchanted creatures. Like, literally, they become really good friends. And Maleficent says, you know, because Aurora's like, yeah, I'm supposed to move back to town on my 16th birthday. And Maleficent's like, you know, you could just live here and not move. And Aurora's like, that's a good idea! And goes running to her aunts and tells them, I want to live here. And they're so pissed at her. They're like, no, we're taking you back to your father the king. Wait, what? It's like, as opposed to this one, where they loved Aurora. They raised her. They're actually really sad in this movie that they got to give her back up to her parents. Like, they loved her. Like, 16 years, we've raised this kid. It was a really fun time, beautiful time. We've grown as a family. In this one, they hate her. In Maleficent, they hate this kid. They're like, it's because of you that for the last 16 years, we've been stuck here in these bodies with no magic. This is your fault. We hate you because of this. And Aurora, like, realizing this, runs to Maleficent. She's like, did you lie to me and not tell me everything? And Maleficent's like, yeah, I kind of did put a curse on you. But I didn't mean it. Like, I want to change it. And of course, Aurora at this point just runs off. The three good fairies, by the way, didn't think to go looking for her until like 3 or 4 hours later. I'm serious, because you would think that they would, when she runs out of the house the first time, you would think they would go try and find her. No, Aurora gets to Maleficent, and then on foot gets to the castle, which is like 20 miles away or something. Gets to the castle, barges into the war room with King Stefan. I don't know, and I'm not kidding. He and his generals are decked out in full armor. They're about to go to war. I don't know why. I don't know who. But she just bursts in and says, Daddy, I'm home! And not for 1 second does he question this. Not for what, like, Stefan's just like, oh, my daughter, it's so good to... How the fuck do you know who this kid is? You haven't seen her since she was that big. How the fuck do you know who this kid is? Takes her at her word. This could be anybody. Some kid, just somebody in the kingdom's like, you know what? This is my meal ticket. I'm gonna, like, let's just assume that she did die. She's been gone for 16 years. Surely to God, she found a spinning wheel somewhere out there, or a wolf ate her, or something. So why don't I just go up to the castle and tell Stefan, hi, Dad, I'm your daughter. It would have worked. He wouldn't have questioned it. Oh, sure. It's like, oh, you're a redhead? Yeah, you're my daughter. Fucking doesn't question it. And then at this point, the good fairies are like, we should try and find Aurora. She has gone 20 miles on foot. Like, God, how long would that take? If you can do like an average of like 5 miles an hour, it would take her like 4 to 5 hours on foot, non-stop, to get to the castle. And only then do they like, you know what, we should probably try and find her so that we can take her back to Stefan. At which point, she's already gone to the castle. No, she hasn't found a spindle yet, but... Prince Philip. not even worth mentioning. Yeah, he's worth mentioning because this is where I was saying they pulled a Snow White and the Huntsman. You know in Snow White and the Huntsman where the original story of Snow White, the prince shows up, kisses her, brings her back to life. And then in Snow White and the Huntsman, they tried that and it didn't work. So the huntsman kisses her, and that brings her back? Because that makes so much sense. Well, Philip meets Aurora. This is like, they meet for like 2 minutes in the forest. And then that's when she goes back to like, I can't remember if she goes back to the cottage or if she goes back to Maleficent, but that's when, like, he's like, yeah, I'm Prince Philip, I'm on my way to the castle. I'll come back this way, though, to hook up with you. Like, they've met each other for 2 minutes. Of course Maleficent sees this, because she sees everything. She then kidnaps this prince, takes her to the castle. She doesn't make it in time. The sun sets, she knows that her curse comes true. And this castle, which is on high alert, by the way, because they know that Maleficent was supposed to be showing up. Again, somehow let this... Alright, the blonde, she was human. We'll let her in. But Maleficent just shows up. Like she's galloping on 2 horses from a distance. No one... There's no scouts that saw this? No one saw this person approaching on horseback. And then she just walks across the drawbridge. No one stops her. No one's there to greet her. Again, castle's on high alert because they're expecting her. And she just waltzes in. She then finds her way to Aurora's room, and the 3 good fairies who don't really know who never know what's going on are sitting there, and they're kind of sad because Stefan has basically threatened to murder them. If something can't be done soon to wake his daughter up, he is literally going to kill them. Because I entrusted my kid to you, and this is what you did. You fucked it up, you dropped the ball, you had one job, and you fucked it up. So, Maleficent literally just shoves the Prince Philip in the room, and the 3 fairies bully him into just kissing this prone, asleep girl. And so he does, and it doesn't work. True love's kiss does not wake her. And so the fairies literally get mad and kick his ass out of the room. Go away! You suck! At which point Maleficent just walks in and she's all crying and everything. She's like, I didn't mean for this, I actually, I grew to like you and we were friends and, you were the first person I ever actually loved as a friend, as a child, whatever, like true love. And kisses her on the forehead. And that breaks the curse! Why do people fuck up movies so badly? Why must they bastardize movies and characters and stories so badly? By the way, there's a dragon in this movie. This crow, he's my favorite character in the movie, by the way. This crow, which she constantly just turns back, like... The crow from the original movie is in this movie. Only she keeps turning him into a human so that she can converse with him. Not only that, but she turns him to like other things as well. At one point, I think she turns him into a horse. She turns him into other stuff, but she converses back and forth with him in his human form. In this point, he's there in his human form, and she turns him into a dragon. And he does okay. You would think a dragon would do a lot more damage and carnage. Because it's a dragon. It breathes fire. Somehow it manages to not kill anybody. It sets the room on fire, but manages to not kill anybody. And somehow gets captured within, 2 minutes. Without killing anybody. A dragon manages to not kill anybody. While breathing fire and whipping its tail around and, swiping its claws. Again, manages to not kill a single person. At this point, you know those wings that Maleficent had? Stefan has kept them as a trophy in a case. At this point, Aurora is just wandering through the castle. Like, Maleficent gets jumped by her father, and Aurora just kind of wanders off. No one stops her. No one says, "Come with us, princess." No one pays her any mind. She just wanders off and happens to find the one room that has these wings in it. Breaks the case. Wings fly off. Reattach themselves to Maleficent. And, like Popeye with a can of spinach, Maleficent is now here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And they haven't invented bubblegum yet, so that leaves one option. Kills King Stefan. Kills his ass. Drops his ass off a cliff or something. At which point, Aurora, I think, moves back to the forest. Philip shows up for some reason. And she's crowned queen by Maleficent. And kind of like Neo at the end of the first Matrix movie, Maleficent flies off into the air with her wings. Like, she's happy. She's not evil. Like, never was she evil in this movie. She was a victim. This whole movie, like, this entire movie was... How long have I been ranting? Oh, crap. This entire movie was all about... It was a Lifetime movie about how women are taken advantage of by mean people. Like, men are just assholes who want to take over and, like, you know, take your shit from you and burn things down and just abuse you. Women are innocent and you know, this was a Lifetime fucking movie. This was a Lifetime fucking movie. I've ranted about this long enough. I went more in depth than I wanted to and talked more about this than I did. God bless you if you've actually watched this whole rant at this point. This movie took my favorite movie and bastardized it. The story was bad. They were trying to rehash something that's already been done. And they did it very badly. They made everyone who was good in the first movie either a villain or unlikable. The one villain in that last movie became the misunderstood wannabe bad guy, but never actually became a bad guy. And I feel like that's bad advertising. Like, you know who this character is. It's Maleficent. She's the mistress of all evil. So you're expecting her to turn evil. Like, you go into this movie with expectations and beliefs, like, Aurora is good, the king is good, you know, the humans are good, because that's how it was the first time. But in this one, they're all fucking idiots. They're all assholes. They're all here to destroy things. The one person whose name actually means evil isn't evil. I'm just really pissed because it's bad advertising. Not only that, but going back to the bad movie, it was badly written as well because of all the plot holes I've explained, things that just don't make any fucking sense. But also, it's the sign of a really bad movie when through the entire movie is exposition, is voiceover exposition. Like when you have to have somebody say, and then this happened, oh, and then that happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then that person, and this person that's person's name over there, and then this person does this, and this person does that. When you can't actually write a movie, write a script where just watching it, people can figure it out. When your audience can't figure out what's going on, that you literally need to tell them, that you need to spoon feed them, this is a good person, that's a bad person. This person fought this person, but they were wrong. And then this person lived here, and then, you know, this person selfishly did that, and this one underhandedly did that. When you have to feed, spoon feed, and tell the audience what they're supposed to think, it's a bad movie. Before all of that, before everything I ranted about for the last, like, 45 minutes, that literally was the thing that, like, tipped me off as this is a bad movie, because 15, 20 minutes into the movie, and no, it was like, yeah, 15, 20 minutes, almost a half hour into the movie, we're still getting exposition. Don't go see this movie. Out of all the movies I've seen this summer, out of all the movies I've seen this year, and I've seen some really stinkers this year, don't go see this movie. Don't. It was bad. It ruins a good story. It totally bastardized a good story. Like I said, none of the characters are worth seeing. Anyway, I think I'm burnt out on this movie. I need to watch something else. I need a palate cleanser. Maybe I'll watch. I need to get to work on episodes of Life with Ponies. Now that I'm home, I can actually get back on board with that. I can actually get back on track with that. Anyway, I've ranted enough about this. I hope you got some entertainment out of this. Anyway, I'm out. I'm FilmCrazyAdam. Laters.